Hey guys, Jason Van Tatenhove here. I want to give you an update. We were putting together a piece yesterday about some of our guys that had been put in solitary confinement since the very beginning of being interned and being in Nevada. Guys like Todd and the other people there that are being held from Bundy Ranch. For those of you who follow me know Todd Engle's a personal close friend of mine. Someone I talk to every day almost. Even now I'm getting calls from him now every other day. When Todd first called me, he was describing a nightmare that he was living, a nightmare where our brothers were being held in solitary confinement, given 1 hour a day in a kennel that wasn't much larger. They were staying in a broom closet to begin with, put out to a kennel that was just a little bit larger, in shackles, not able to even see the sun. Todd had lost 20 pounds by the time they were there. One gentleman has actually gone blind from not getting his medication. I'm glad to say that Todd called me this morning with just overwhelming joy in his voice that they had been released within 24 hours of doing some stuff in the background I won't really go into, but there were some good people involved, and we were able to together get them to turn around 160 degrees. So now, for the most part, there's still some people that are in maximum security. We're still verifying that everybody has been released out of the hole and now in general population. They have weighed Todd. They've gotten him the medical attention that he had requested. And so hopefully they are now going to be treated more as they should be. Not that any of them should be in jail at this point, but at least we have this as a victory. So I just want to get that out there. I'm going to put this on the front of the video we put together yesterday with Michelle Fiore, talking about this treatment, talking about the steps we're going to take. We were ready to get elected officials protesting in front of the jails. We were going to put out the marshal service guy in charge there, because really it's the warden in this particular institution was overridden by the marshal. The warden was actually going to let our people go in and do wellness checks and whatnot, and the marshal had said no. So we now have made some progress, and we need to keep the pressure on them. We need to make sure all our guys are out of there. I still believe Eric Parker is still in solitary. We need to work to get him out of there, and that all our guys are being treated as if they are our citizens. They are innocent until proven guilty. These are not rapists and murderers or child molesters, but they were being treated worse than those type of criminals. So I'm very glad that we were able to get this out of there. I'm sorry for the poor quality of this video, but I just wanted to get it out quickly as an addendum to yesterday's video, which we had put together. We're going to release it today with a big push, but we were able to push them back. So we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep trying to get these guys out, and we're going to keep bringing you updates. So stay tuned and keep sharing this stuff out, and we'll keep getting it out there for you guys. What they do need right now, Todd, definitely, and all those guys, they have nothing to do all day. They can read a few books, so we can get them a certain amount of books. So I think you can actually purchase them on Amazon and send them. You can write to them. I'm going to put in the show notes how you can write to them. They'd like to hear from anyone. I mean, think of yourself put in their positions. If you had nothing to do all day, what sort of things would you want sent to you? To help occupy the time. Please keep praying for these guys, and most importantly, Todd has really stated that we have got to if each one of us would just send $5 or $10, it would make for they would know that they had the legal representation they needed to do this right. This is the next phase of the battle, folks. We need to really this is the part where we can put out for discoveries. We can get a lot of that background information that we don't have access to right now, but because our guys have made those sacrifices and are now in jail, we're able to apply for those discoveries and get the information out that we didn't have access to before. So this is just another phase, and this is a phase we need to support monetarily. So please, 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 I'm going to be putting Todd's PayPal button out there that goes directly to Todd. It was set up by a friend of his, Jared, who I trust implicitly. And if you've got other guys' information for where to write them and where to send money to them directly, please leave them in the comments. We'll put them up. I'll update the articles and whatnot to reflect that information as it comes in, as long as it can be verified. I don't want to be putting out anything that could be used by some unscrupulous people. So need to be able to verify it, but if we can do that, I will put that information out there. Thank you very much, and help us continue to win these fights. All right, folks, this is Jason Van Tatenhove with Oath Keepers Media, and we have a special broadcast today. I was contacted by Todd late last night, just before 10 o'clock my time. He's, as many of you know who listen, he's a very close friend of mine, someone I would speak to pretty much every day, if not every other day, and have done camping. My family knows him. He is someone I consider to be one of my very close personal friends. And he relayed to me a story that caused me not to get much sleep last night. Todd and our political prisoners are being tortured, really. It is certainly cruel and unusual punishment, and it is certainly a presumption of guilt. Now, he relayed to me some very disturbing details that, from talking to Councilwoman Michelle Fiore, has been backed up by her and her account from going and visiting. So we also have Michelle Fiore here with us. Thanks for joining us today, Michelle.
Thank you so much for having me, Jason.
Absolutely. Now, so the story that was told to me is that they are in the hole, and understand what the hole is. It is solitary confinement, and it's basically a broom closet where they're not allowed to see anyone. They're not allowed to talk to anyone. I don't know if there's any beds or any chairs or anything like that. It's basically a closet, and they are in there all but 1 hour a day. And when they're allowed out, it's not really outside where you have fresh air. It is into a larger cage, a kennel, where they can walk around shackled for less than an hour. Todd has lost 20 pounds. He's only been in there a few weeks, and this is the first time he was able to call me. And this is not an uncommon story. All of our guys are saying this. So, Michelle, please let our listeners know what you went out and visited them. Tell us about your experience. What are they going through?
Well, so I was out there this past Friday. I believe it was the 25th, whatever Friday's date was. And I visited with 7 out of the 8 that were there, because as we were leaving, I found out there was an 8th person there, and Jerry DeLemus is also on his way, I believe, to that particular facility. I will tell you that this is definitely criminal, the way they are being treated. As I spoke to them, Jason, what was really hopeful for me is their spirits were high, even under the duress and under the circumstances that they are being treated. They are literally in a cell, maybe 7 by 8, if that large, 24 hours a day. They get to come out of the cell for, like you said, less than an hour before the sun rises, and they get to go into a kennel, which is no larger than an 8 by 8, shackled, by the way, and they get to run around really fast, because that time of the morning it's very brisk and it's cold. So they've got to move fast just to keep warm. And then they're back into their solitary confinement. And understand there's just a little slit in that cell where they will give them food, or if they're allowed a phone call from their attorney or another phone call, they'll slip the phone or some kind of machine through that little slot in the wall. So these guys are in this cell this amount of time, and I want you to understand that they are not criminals. They have not been convicted, and the guards there have basically told them that they're going to be in solitary until their trial. Now, their trial can take a month, it can take a year, it can take 2 years, but there's no way that these guys should be where they are today, nevertheless, for any extended period of time. I've met with the warden, not this past time. I've got a call into her. We're going to be meeting this week. I also have a call into the director of the U.S. Marshals, Christopher Hoy, and to meet with him as well. I don't find this treatment To be fair, I find it to be a violation of our basic civil rights.
Well, it's a violation of Amendment 8 of our constitutional rights. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Murderers and rapists are not treated this badly.
That's correct.
And
That's correct.
these guys don't have any sort of criminal record prior to this.
This is correct. And some of them are vets. Some of them have served our country, and they're back into our country serving our fellow Americans. And this is how they're getting treated. It is really criminal. It is without a doubt criminal. And I will tell you, I have to give kudos to our commissioner out there, Commissioner Donna Cox. She actually came to the prison with me. And this is her county. This is Nye County, where this private prison is. This is her county, and we tried seeing the warden when we were there to ask for special permission to do well checks and actually physically see them. We were denied. We were basically able to visit with the 7 political captives via just like we are right now. I got to see a picture of them through a video, and that was it. And we got to be on the phone with them. But we have to get them out of this particular situation, nevertheless released. I mean, you look at the situation that they're in, and we're looking up SOPs, which is standing operating procedures, of, let's say, terrorists. I mean, right now we have this administration releasing terrorists off of the Guantanamo Bay base, but yet they are arresting and keeping folks in solitary confinement in our own United States.
So the guy that is responsible, because the warden has made it clear that it's out of her hands, she can't do anything about it, is up to the Marshal Service. Now, who in the Marshal Service would be responsible for this treatment?
Well, people, I don't like passing the buck. So the warden at this particular prison is Charlotte Collins. And Charlotte, I have to tell you, when I first met her a few weeks ago and asked her for permission to do well checks on these prisoners, she actually granted me access. Well, as I was taking off my boots and going to go through their surveillance, the U.S. Marshal called down and said, no, do not allow that assemblywoman to visit with the prisoners. She can basically, via Skype them or whatever, via video them. So it was cut. So when we emailed the Marshal, we haven't gotten a response back. We've called them today. We've emailed them today. I'm reaching out again today. And hopefully we can get a face-to-face meeting with this U.S. Marshal. Basically, what the facility in Pahrump, which is Nye County, which is the Commissioner Donna Cox's county, they're basically saying it's a federal facility, even though CCA, it's a private prison. It's run by the U.S. Marshals, and so the U.S. Marshals get to dictate what's going on. All of the guards have told our political captives that they're going to be in solitary till trial. This is criminal, and this is not okay, and we have to all of us have to reach out and email and write and call the U.S. Marshal's office and ask why, and this is not okay.
So you kind of hit it right there on the nail on the head. How do we help them get out of this immediately? I know we're going to go ahead and list those numbers in the notes of this. We can state it here, who this person is, and this is a marshal that was appointed. He wasn't elected. Go look into who appointed him if you want a good read. But we're able to say who this marshal is, correct?
Yeah, no, it's public information. I mean, you can look him up on the internet. I've heard great things about this marshal. I personally don't know him, nor have I met him. He does come from Metro, which is our local law enforcement here. His name is Christopher Hoye, Hoye, and he was appointed, as you said, he was appointed in 2010 by Obama, and we can give his email and his phone number out, and I would urge everyone to call him and email him politely. I might add.
Yeah, we
Polite.
need to be very clear here, folks. Do not send any threatening emails, no
No,
threatening phone calls. They're not going to take that lightly, and it does no
no.
good in the end. We
And
need
let
to
me
be.
tell you, if you threaten a law enforcement agency like that, they will totally pick you up and put you in the cell right next to them. So be cautious and, be professional and just get your point across that we feel that this behavior is criminal, and please help us. Ask them for their help to get them out of solitary.
Well, if they're being treated unfairly now, before the trial then begins by the system that is putting them through this trial process, how can we expect them to be treated fairly in trial?
Well, I'm going to talk with several of the attorneys about this because I don't know if they're going to get a fair trial. I personally, if I was an attorney on board, I would absolutely ask for this trial to be moved to Wyoming or Montana.
Absolutely. So these guys are out there 23 hours a day, really. Nothing to do. Todd has relayed to me, love to have people write to him. He's just now gotten like his first couple books in. They've got nothing to do. So, and they also need your support, folks. They really need all of us. Todd relayed to me, if every oath keeper out there, if every good patriot out there would donate $10 and then $5 a month towards a legal representation and just keeping money on their books, it would make things so much more bearable and really just put their mind at ease that they had those resources to call upon. And folks, remember, these are the guys that when we were seeing those pictures of the BLM agents with their dogs attacking pregnant women and survivors of cancer and pointing ARs on them and trying to force them into a free speech zone that was the size of a pig pen, that they put their lives on hold and they went across the country. They left their families behind. They left their jobs behind. And they went out to say, we're not going to let another Waco or another Ruby Ridge happen on our watch. We're not going to let this family be killed. And that's why they went out. It had nothing to do with cattle. It had nothing to do with anything else at first, except to say, we're not going to let you, again, murder innocent people. So that's the type of people these are. They're not murderers. They're not rapists. As a matter of fact, murderers and rapists are being treated more fairly than our political prisoners right now. We've got to put this in perspective. And we need to begin to work together to understand the laws regarding the situation with private prisons. There's been a lot of controversy about it and just how much people's rights are violated in these types of situations. So we need to become very educated and work diligently to do that. And through all this, I want to just encourage everyone, we've got to show the powers that be how to be on the moral high road. We've always got to be more professional, more polite. We've always got to have that moral high ground that we're coming from, folks. So please keep that in mind as we're moving forward. What else would you like to add, Michelle?
So I basically want to just make sure to reiterate as we email the warden and as we email the U.S. Marshal. My mom growing up has told me my whole life, Michelle, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. And she's right, because I'll tell you, when I get a nasty email, I generally reply, but the reply is, if you're nasty to me, I'm nasty back. If you're sweet to me, I'm sweet to you. If you're professional, I'm professional. So I basically mirror the person that's either calling or emailing me. So I would ask if you want the warden or the U.S. Marshal to mirror your request and make sure your request is polite and professional.
Yeah, we got to treat these guys like we want them to be treating our guys inside. So we're going to go ahead and put the numbers and emails of these people and their organizations into the notes for the article and whatnot. Please share this out. Let people know what's going on. These are our people, folks, and we've got to do our best to take care of them. Michelle, again, I want to thank you for everything you're doing. You're right in a campaign right now, and I know that you've relayed to me that if you don't fight these battles now, as they're happening, as inconvenient as they may be for being right in the middle of an election, well, then you don't have an America to be fighting for. So I really appreciate that, and I wish you the best of luck in your upcoming election campaign.
Thank you so much, Jason.
All right.